Hi everyone. So today we are going to understand the concept of average speed and speed का concept हमने already QA under a minute के वीडियो में cover किया है जिसका लिंक आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा राइट नाउ कमिंग टू एवरेज स्पीड तो यार a lot of misconception is there among students that your average speed is equal to your average of speeds right ये जो misconception है ये पूरी तरह से गलत है कि average speed is average of speeds. Mostly I see students, what do they do is ki yaar, let's say example, let's take example ki there's a car which travels certain distance at 30 kmph and then travels certain distance at let's say 40 kmph. So what do they do is they take the summation of both and they find out the average because two values to divide by 2 karke they find out the average and they say ki by 35 kilometer per hour is going to be my average speed, which is absolutely wrong, right? Average speed is not equal to average of speed is the first and the most basic thing that you have to remember, right? Then what is average speed? तो भाई we know that speed क्या होता है? Speed होता है आपके लिए distance upon time, right? Speed क्या है? Distance, जो भी distance आपने travel करी upon time, right? तो average speed के situation में क्या अलग है? So the difference is that questions में what you will be getting is कि भाई certain distance was traveled at certain speed at a certain speed or like that tick, then some part of the distance was traveled at some other speed maybe and some part of the distance was traveled at some other speed, right? So eventually हमको करना वही है, that is distance upon time. So effective formula मेरे लिए यहाँ पे क्या होता है, what is the total distance that I have traveled, right? What is the total distance that has been traveled and what is the total time that has been taken to cover that distance, right? So using this formula, you will be getting your average speed ka value, right? Now, there is also a special case for in case of average speed where there is a direct formula to calculate the answer. Now, that case is of to and fro motion. So basically, hota kya hai that let's say a car is there that starts from one point, it goes to the other point and then returns back to the first point, right? तो एक कार है वो एक पॉइंट से दूसरे पॉइंट जा रही है दूसरे पॉइंट से वापस अपने पॉइंट पे आ रही है राइट सो दैट्स द केस सो इस तरह केस में लेट्स राइट इट डाउन फॉर यू गाइस एज वेल कि लेट्स से इफ अ पर्सन लेट्स से if a person goes from A to B at x kmph, let's say, right, at x kmph and comes back to A, at y kmph, right? So ये हो गया हमारा टू एंड फ्रो मोशन का केस. अब इस तरह का जब भी आपके सामने केस आता है, so we have a direct formula for calculating the average speed. And the direct formula simply tells you that the value of your average speed is going to be 2 multiplied by x multiplied by y divided by x plus y, right? So this is the direct case which you can, if you get, you can apply this direct formula and arrive at your answer, right? Now we have two questions. What I would want you to do is pause the video, look at the question, this question, try and solve it. Then I'll be solving, match with my solution. And then we have one more question which will be given as a homework thing for you. And the solution for which would be uploaded via QA under a minute series, right? So let's understand the question. You guys should pause and solve this question and then look at the solution, right? So let's see what do we have. So a bird flying 500 kilometers covers the first 200 kilometers at 100 kilometer per hour, then 100 kilometers at 200 kilometer per hour, next 100 kilometers at 300 kilometers per hour, and the last 100 kilometers at 600 kilometers per hour. Now we have to determine the average speed of the bird, right? So exactly the way we have learned, by we know the formula for average speed is going to be total distance upon total time taken. Now, in this case, the total distance has been given to me. It is 500 kilometers, right? 500 kilometers, right? But what about the total time? So different stretches are there of different distance and at different speeds, right? So for every single one of them, we will be calculating the time taken. So let's talk about the first one, right? 200 kilometers at 100 kilometer per hour. We know speed is equal to distance upon time. So what do we get? Sorry, we are calculating time. So time is equal to distance upon speed, right? Let's write it in a proper way, distance upon speed. What do we get? 200 kilometers at 100 kilometers per hour, we get 2 hours, right? So 2 hours. Second stretch is of 100 kilometers at 200 kilometer per hour. So this time it will be 100 kilometers, that is distance divided by speed. What do we get? 0.5. So let's add 0.5 over here. Third stretch is 100 kilometers at 300 ka speed. What do we get? 0.33 hours, right? Let's add it up. 0.33. And the fourth one that we have is 100 kilometers at 600 kilometers per hour. So this one is going to be 0.16 hours, right? Let's add it up. What do we get as the total distance? Total distance we know is 500. And what do we get as the total time taken? So the summation of this is equal to 3, right? So what do we get as the final answer of an average speed? We get the final answer of an average speed is 166.66 kilometers per hour, right? Hope this question is clear. And now you should take a screenshot, pause the video and solve it for yourself. And you will be, the solution would be posted by evening in a form of QA under a minute. Thanks for watching. Hope it has been clear to you. Thank you.